It was the ancient Greek physician Dioscorides who in the 1st century AD suggested that walnuts have some sort of medicinal value. In his classic compendium of herbal substances, which was labeled De Materia Medica, that is, medical things, Dioscorides described a number of benefits, including an effect on mental conditions. Well, this Greek physician was a proponent of the Doctrine of Signatures. What is that? Well, the doctrine maintained that plants resembling various parts of the human body were effective remedies should those parts of the body suffer some sort of ailment. And walnuts, as you know, look like brains. So they were a remedy, supposedly, for mental problems. Well, of course, sometimes something that is totally incorrect in terms of rationality may still turn out to be, okay. And this is the case with walnuts. Of course, the doctrine of signatures is total nonsense. But it turns out that walnuts have some very interesting medical effects. Walnuts are extensively studied. There are hundreds of studies that have been carried out in peer-reviewed publications. Now, most of these have looked at cardiovascular effects, and they have noted lowering of blood cholesterol. That's pretty well established. But a few have examined the effects of walnut consumption on mental function. For example, in rats. Feeding walnuts results in improved memory, learning skills, better motor development, reduced anxiety. How about people? Well, there's some data from the National Health and Nutrition Survey in the US suggests that walnut consumers have lower scores on tests for depression. And now we have a very interesting study. And this is a study that was done in students. And it looked at the effects of stress. Obviously, university life can be very stressful, especially around exam time. So these Australian researchers designed a study to investigate the effect of walnut consumption on mental health. And that was evaluated by these detailed questionnaires. An experimental group consumed 2 handfuls of walnuts every day. That's about 55 to 60 grams. And a control group ate no nuts. The students were evaluated at the beginning of the semester, then around exam time, and also at the end of the semester. Depression, anxiety, and stress were at their highest levels during exam week. I guess one would expect that. In each case, though, students in the walnut group had lower scores. Similar benefits were seen in mood disturbance, anger, hostility, and confusion and bewilderment. Now, admittedly, the results are not stunning, but they're interesting because there really is no downside to eating walnuts, except, of course, the calories. You got to watch those. There's about 400 of them in 2 handfuls of walnuts. Now, why should walnuts have any effect on mental function? There are 2 possibilities. Walnuts are rich in alpha-linolenic acid. That's an omega-3 fatty acid, and it's important for the proper formation and functioning of cell membranes. Then walnuts also contain polyphenols, and these can prevent damage to cell membranes by free radicals. And you know what those are? Those are these nasty rogue species, byproduct of the use of oxygen by cells. But they can interact with proteins, nucleic acids, and break them down. Polyphenols are antioxidants, and they can counter this oxidative stress. A recent laboratory study has even shown that walnut extract may be able to dissolve beta amyloid. That's the protein that gums up communication between nerve cells, hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. There's yet one more possible benefit of walnuts. There's an indication that eating them can increase the diversity of bacteria that populate our gut, particularly in favor of those that ferment fiber and produce butyrate, a chemical that plays a role in maintaining the health of the intestines. All right, now to top it all off, a couple of population studies have shown that nut consumers, although not specifically walnuts, that they live longer. No, walnuts are not a superfood. There's no such thing. But snacking on walnuts, yep. At least here, the science is not nutty. And that for today is our cup of joe.